Good morning. This video is about return to vendor, where you can go you've received a product, you've decided to ship it back to the vendor, so you can go in and mark it as a return, and then you have an option. You can either do a debit memo or not a debit memo, depending on whether the invoice has been processed or not. So I'll walk through both of them. In the PowerPoint that'll be attached to this, you'll see the process in two different screen types. As you know, Oracle is moving to the new Redwood experience, and so this environment has Redwood turned on, so it'll be using the Redwood screens where appropriate. But the PowerPoint has screenshots in a Redwood and in the old format. So just so you know. So what's happened here is I've created it in a purchase order and actually received it. So we'll go over here to inventory transactions, and this will be the first Redwood screen that you'll see here. So we'll just pull up a transaction date here. And the purchase order that we're going to be dealing with is, I'll need to go put the purchase order in here. Here we go. Is this purchase order 165033? So it's been received for 500 units. So we're going to do a couple different kinds of returns on it. So we'll go back out here, get back into inventory management. And I'm going to go to receipts and receiving returns. This screen's a little bit different than the former screen. And then Redwood will pop up here. Get rid of the pending fulfillment. And then I'm going to come up here and click on create a new return. It's going to be to a supplier. I'm just going to say damage. I can type damaged goods. The supplier is Lee Supplies. Of course, that's our go-to supplier for everything. Supplier site is actually Lee US. Then I'm going to add the line. So it's going to bring up the receipts that I have for Lee Supply. And the one that we're dealing with is this one here, 165032. So I'll click on it. And down here at the bottom is the add button. So we're going to add, and then we're going to edit it because I don't want to send back all 500 units. So I come over here into actions, and I'm going to select the number of units I'm going to return. So we'll say 25 units we'll send back. So I can put in a 25. I can give it a reason code. And then right here is where you can determine whether it's going to be a credit memo will be creating accounts payable or not. And also you have the option of the material is physically returned. What this will do, and this we're going to keep this checked, what this will do is it'll set up a shipping transaction in the pick ship world so that your warehouse knows to go take these damaged goods and send them back to the vendor. So the first one we're going to do without a credit memo. Going to update this. Here, notice it brings in my quantity. Everything looks good. So we're going to go ahead and submit this. And so that's the first part of creating a return. So one will be without a credit memo, one will be with a credit memo. And this should bring up the screen here. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to go ahead and start the other return. This will be the one with the credit memo. It's going to be very similar. It's going to be to a supplier. Again, my 165033. Add, edit, and let's say return 35 at this point. On this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave both of these checked. So it'll orchestrate a return, and it's going to create a debit memo for the 35 units. You can save and close these if you wish, but we're going to just go ahead and submit that. So at this point, I'm going to slide another screen over here. What happens when Redwood is used? It'll actually open up another tab. And there are still some areas within Redwood navigation, like I can't go back to the screen. I had to come all the way out and back in again to the main menu and back in again. So I just set up another screen for the purposes of today. And so to do the shipments, it's just like any other shipment. You'll notice I have two shipments here. I'm going to click on this. And here's my two shipments. The one for 25 that we said was no debit memo or credit memo, one for 35 that has a credit memo. If you'll notice, the shipments have already been created. If not, you would highlight the line. You can highlight the lines and say create shipment. If they don't pop up, you can always come up in here and search for them. But since they're already here and the shipment has already been created, I'm just going to go ahead and go over to actions. I'm going to confirm ship. So this is assuming that this is the warehouse will go out, they'll pick it, they'll grab the product that need to be returned. Hopefully this is in some kind of a quarantine location. And then we're going to go ahead and ship confirm these back to the vendor. So those two have been shipped, and now that line has been closed out. We'll save and close this to close out the shipping process. Now the last step that we have, you'll notice my shipments are gone. So the last step is to, I can find it here, come over in Accounts Payable and import that debit memo into payables. So the way we do that, I'm logged in as Casey Brown. He has access to payables. We'll come in here to import invoices, which is this right here. Whoops. Import invoices. And this is going to bring up a background process. And you have various options for this. My screen's messing up here. Took it over here. So we're going to do returns to the supplier. That's all you need to select. And then go ahead and submit this. And that'll run in the background. And then once it finishes, we'll come over here to manage invoices and put in Lee Supply. Search. Go back 7 days. And well, our debit memo hasn't come through yet, but oh yeah, we have. It's this one right here. This is the debit memo from that we just did today for $567. I can click on this and it'll bring up my the information on it. So obviously it reverses out taxes down here at the bottom, as well as the price at $15 a unit for that particular purchase order. So not a very difficult process, but in the past, this is a video that I had intended to do about 18 months ago, and then life happens and it didn't. And so before that, return to vendor didn't have the shipping process associated with it. So I'm glad they finally got that functionality out so that you can follow through. If you're going to return product to the vendor, you can actually tell the warehouse to pick it and ship it out. As always, there'll be a PowerPoint in the comment section. Hope this has been helpful for you.